The man scattered magic powder over a young dragon. In the very next second, its form began to swell. The king kicked the massive dragon away with ease. But what swelled was not the dragon's size, it was its flames. The king possessed an immortal body, and dragonfire could not harm him at all. One day earlier, Jack had entered the dungeon, where he found the legendary dragon, holding the powder the wizard had given him. He hurriedly scattered it over the dragon's head. At first it had no effect, but he accidentally alerted the guards, and was immediately captured on the spot. Just after Jack was dragged away, the dragon began licking the powder. Meanwhile, the king looked out the window. The solar eclipse was approaching. If he embedded the stone of eternity into the sacred sword, he would gain the power of eternal life. At that moment, Jack was brought into the great hall. The king didn't even spare him a glance. Continuing to wait for this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, Jack used modern weapons to threaten him, but the queen tackled him to the ground. After a loud explosion, white smoke rose from the king's chest, and he collapsed to the floor. Yet the queen only laughed, because the king's ritual was complete. He had gained immortality, and even the dragon's fire could not faze him. Jack resorted to provocation, challenging the king to lay aside the magic sword and settle things in a duel between men. But Jack was only a mortal, and still no match for the king. The king grew increasingly arrogant, telling Jack how years ago, in his quest for power, he ambushed Jack's father and seized the White Mountain Kingdom. At the critical moment, the demon lord suddenly seized the stone of eternity. Both men knew perfectly well that if the stone were destroyed, the power of immortality would vanish. The king proposed sharing power with the demon lord, so long as he was allowed to finish off Jack first. But the demon lord had already seen through the king's treachery and prepared to perish together if necessary. Suddenly the queen hurled a giant axe, severing the demon lord's arm that still held the stone. Once again priority fell back into the king's hands. Jack struck with spikes, distracting the king. The demon lord, using sheer will, controlled his severed hand and flung the stone forward. As the sword came down, the power of immortality vanished. The demon lord disintegrated into ashes. Seeing the tide turn, the queen quickly leapt from the castle to escape. With her magic gone, the petrified people returned to life, and the White Mountain Kingdom welcomed long-lost peace. But the queen suddenly appeared in modern society, already plotting an even greater conspiracy.